Hello and welcome. We're here today to talk about alternative business structures. I'm joined here by Chad Nikolz, entrepreneur and business owner. Chad, welcome. So the way that I've most often come across your different businesses is through the internet. And as I understand, it's a pretty big part of the way that you run your businesses and the way that businesses these days are run in general. Can you tell me a little bit about the internet and the part it's played in your promotion, in your distributing, the part it's played in your businesses?
Yeah, the internet. The internet, it allows us to make the products, whether that is like communicating with factories around the world that speak a variety of different languages. We can babble fish those languages and all speak together. Whether it is handling the transactions of money. The biggest component, obviously, is how we create a community, how we reach our customers and foster our customer base and leverage upon our customer base. So, through the internet, through our websites, through our online experiences is really
great.
How we get that done.
I'm going to actually go off of what you just said. You mentioned community, and Chad, we've talked a few times outside of this. You've often mentioned the importance of community and the importance of fostering community in relation to your variety of different businesses. Tell me a little bit about what community means to you in the context of business as well.
So in my opinion, a community is a group of people working together on some sort of project, whatever, even if that project is just survival, that's a community. For my projects, for our projects, it is, we're not just a community of artists and business people coming together to create these products, but we're also, or to tell the stories of these products, but we're also, without our customers being a part of what we are doing, whether it is using the products or telling the stories of the lives they lead using the products, that's the community so I mean, community can mean so many different things. It could be the entity that creates the products, the people that use the products, or
absolutely,
so on and so forth. So community is the name of the game.
Fantastic. So I happen to know that you've mostly distributed your products on the West Coast right now. I'm wondering, is the size and scope of your business as it stands, is that kind of a means to an end? Would you eventually like to be distributing internationally, transnationally, or would you prefer to keep it kind of on a smallish scope on the West Coast?
I mean, obviously, like the World Wide Web, we're across the world.
The World Wide Web.
Right. So, in each of my different products or businesses or brands, have different ways in which they are sold. For example, the eyewear Gin Optics is sold through mostly bike shops and triathlon shops on the West Coast. And that's super expensive to open up those shops. You got to put a display case in there. You got to go meet the owner. You got to tell them how great it is. You got to
be exhausting.
Yeah, and you got to travel a lot. And you got to make a big footprint. There's a big overhead to do that. The energy gel, we sell those through the shops as well, but people are much more eager and willing to spend $2 and buy it online and give it a go and give it a try. And the web magazine, that's just information that we're selling. We're trying to get we're trying to get them to spend their time and their attention on us. Every product, every project has a different way in which it's consumed, a different way in which it communicates to its customer.
Fantastic. So I tried to reach you earlier today, and I gave you a call on your phone, and I got the message machine. You never pick up. But what it said was, Gin Optics, NikApparel, and Chad Nikolz are not home right now, and it made me think. You're very much the face behind your products, behind your businesses. You work with other people, I understand. But what role does being relatively autonomous play in your ability to be the creative director, the kind of the main component behind your businesses? What role does being autonomous play in that? And would that be affected, if you were to choose to add more managers, more owners?
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, I mean, there's so many different ways to build. I mean, there's so many ways to skin a cat, and
terrible imagery.
it really is, isn't it? But ultimately, what I'm trying to do at this point is I try to wear every hat attached. I try to embody and do every job that needs to be done for at least a period of time. You know, so I try to, whether it's we're going to be hiring a rep, and I want to make sure that I have that job as well organized and dialed and well built as possible. I want to serve that. I want to do that job for a while and make sure that it's done as well, it's built as well as it can be built. But yeah, it seems that, yeah.
Let's divulge on that a little bit. Tell me about what makes you do what you do. What do you love about what you do?
Well, ultimately,
it's a big question.
Yeah, it is. It's a big question. Huh? I love what I mean. I have a desire to create, and I have a desire to share my creations. I mean, it's as simple as that. So, but ultimately, I have passions and things that I love to do, and things I wish there was more of, and things that influenced me, and it had an impression upon me, and affected the way that I've grown. And I want to, affect and influence in a similar way. I want to, remember what those experiences were and try to return them.
Speaking of which, can you tell us a little bit about the Every Kid Can Fly Foundation? That's a program that,
Sure.
that you've set up, and a charitable program that gives back to the community, again, kind of trying to foster this idea of giving back in certain ways. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the Every Kid Can Fly Foundation. I mean, I can both speak on that as what it is, but it also represents just how we have all these very, this variety, this collection of brands and businesses, but they all kind of run under a similar infrastructure. Whether it's the way that we do our taxes, whether it's the way that we do our shipping and handling, whether it's the way that we do some of our marketing and advertising. So the Every Kid Can Fly Foundation, all of the product-based businesses, the businesses that create products, have a certain amount of just blemishes or unsellable product. So we can't sell this stuff, so instead of throwing it away or just sitting on it for the sake of sitting on it, we try to give it back to deserving kids or deserving people that could use this product.
Fantastic. Chad, you have a great kind of story. For me, you represent the American dream of kind of pulling yourself up by bootstraps a little bit. I know for a period of time you've basically done whatever it takes to keep moving forward, to keep pushing forward, including I believe living in your car for a little while. Tell me a little bit about your story, how you got to here.
So just as of a couple days ago, we hit the 3-year mark for basically any of the projects that I'm speaking on today, and so everything's pretty young, 3 years, But 3 years ago as well, like at least the U.S.'s economic climate changed dramatically. So when I first got going, and I got going by buying a failed sunglass brand. So so my initial official project was even birthed by the failure of another, and bought this brand. We got it for like pennies on the dollar, kind of a thing, and I had a couple of investors involved. I had a little bit of money of my own, and we just kind of spent everything as you will do. I mean, that's kind of the way too. You got a credit card, you're probably going to spend it. We spent it all. Theoretically got everything that we needed, and outside investors were falling apart. We weren't moving as much product. People in general weren't buying as much product, to say the least. And so everything, what we thought was going to happen didn't happen. And instead of, abandoning, we stayed with it. And whether it was like to set an example, whether it was to create a good story, or whether it was just to make sure I had my eye on the prize, I just, I sacrificed my own. I mean, all I wanted to do was work. Mm-hmm. So I worked from cafes and spent our money on a little warehouse space and put a bed in the back of my Subaru and slept there and worked. And it was so hard. And it wasn't so hard because I lived in a car. It was so hard because I don't think we really know how important our places to recover are.
Absolutely. Well, that's a great story, Chad. I have so many more questions for you, but we're out of time today. I'd like to thank you for coming to the show.
Right on. Thank you, Sam.
It's been a good time.
Yeah.